And obviously we're talking about TJ Watt. He's not at minicamp. Um, he wants a new deal, possibly the biggest contract in NFL history for a defensive player, I should say.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what he might be looking for. I mean, look, it's about the cap. How
Yeah.
much does he want? Look, the Steelers are not going to get rid of him. There's a bunch of talking points, and a lot of people are saying trade TJ Watt. Gee, you
Uh-huh.
said that earlier today that we should have traded him.
Yeah.
You want to get rid of him?
Not now.
What
If
difference does it make?
before the pre-draft and post-draft.
They weren't drafting anybody that was going to take his position. So what difference did it make?
But B, the capital that you could get for him. That's why I said what I
You
said.
can get it next year.
Mm-mm. No. No, no, no.
Why? I
Can
mean,
I
the
start with number
draft
8?
is the draft. They're either going to give you the draft capital or they're not.
Well, let me start with number 8. That's why not. Now. Number 8. Now, I'm not saying number 8 is a Super Bowl champion, but number 8 gives you an opportunity to win a playoff game. So let's start with 8. That's number reason why. Number 2 is that I think that they could have got high draft capital, and I believe teams contacted the Steelers about one. But Pittsburgh was like, nah. But B, if you remember back, Watt was out there on his social media shooting people deuces. Remember all that stuff he was doing? Was he telling us then, like, look, without the bread, I'm not playing? Because we saw it on his social media accounts. He was out there talking about pieces, deuces, I'm out. I I don't know what's going on. But TJ, let me say this. If you're a leader for our franchise, you're the defensive leader, a captain for our franchise, money can't come down to it like this. You want to be a Steeler for life. Sign the contract and get your ass to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and be ready to perform. We're going to take care of you. We're going to do you just like Cam Hayward. We're going to make you a Steeler for life. But it can't be all selfish on one side. I need to be the highest this or the highest that. No, you don't need to be. Now, would I pay him good money? Yeah. But come on now. Come on, TJ. If you're a leader and you want to be a Steeler for life, I think that's the requirement, dog. To me, B. To me. If you want to be a Steeler for life, take a void year. Don't take the big, massive money. I want to be known as the highest non-offensive player in the NFL. Stop that, dog. You're the leader of the defense. Sign the contract and get your ass to Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
I mean, I don't think you can pocket watch somebody and tell them to take less money. I think
Facts.
that's not even American to tell
Facts.
somebody to take less money. You
Mhm.
know, I don't think that's the answer. Now, if you
Mhm.
want to say if you just don't want them, okay, then you just don't want them. But I don't think you can tell somebody to say, "Hey, man, you're not loyal if you don't take less money." That's crazy. Yeah, I'm not telling anybody, man, woman, child. I don't care who it is. I'm not telling you to take less money just
Mhm.
because for my enjoyment. Because they
Yeah.
got to go live in the real world. And I know what some people are going to say. Well, he's already made hundreds of millions of dollars. You're right,
Yeah.
but he can
Facts.
also make more. And
Yeah.
I'm not in
Facts.
any position to tell anybody what's enough. That's
Yeah.
not for me. That's not for, and I'm not saying you, G, just people
Mhm.
in general. You shouldn't be telling people what's enough money.
Yeah.
You can't be telling people that. So I mean, I get what you're saying as
Uh-huh.
far as yeah, if he wants to be a Steeler for life, I get that. There's a way that you can do that as far as contract stuff,
Mhm.
but there's risk involved. And
Yeah.
either you want to pay him or you don't. And if we don't want to pay him,
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily mad if the Steelers say, you know what, we're not doing this. We're not giving you the money. I
Uh,
wouldn't like it, but okay, I could understand the reasoning at
yeah.
least. But I can never understand the reasoning by telling somebody, hey, you're not loyal because you don't want to take less
Yeah.
money to help my organization. I'm a billionaire. You need to take less to help my organization. No,
Right.
I don't. You,
Mhm.
you need to help me. We need to help each other
Yeah.
because it's got to be a two-way street. It's
Yeah.
got to be a two-way street. And fair market value is fair market value, whether we like it or not. It is what it is. Because I never want to compare a regular job and a professional football job. I
Yeah.
never want to compare or a professional job like to compare to us because it's not the same. You can't
Correct.
do that. But
Correct.
if you look at it just from a family or a real life situation,
Yeah.
nobody's taking less money to stay at the company that they're at if they could go get more money doing the exact same thing somewhere else. They're going
That's
to do it.
facts. Yeah.
They're gonna do it.
Well,
So
be the only I'm not pocket watching the dude. Please, and I know you know that because we know each other. So, but I just think that it does Watt feel that it's not fair market value if he comes in below Miles Garrett and above Max Crosby. Because let's face it, the Cleveland Browns do the dumbest stuff ever
they do.
concerning money with a franchise.
They do.
They Miles Garrett threatened to leave the team. He
Correct.
wanted out of there, trade me. So we're going to pacify you and give the money. They gave Deshaun Watson $250 million all guaranteed. That was the dumbest contract in NFL history.
Right.
So if our expectations as the Steelers is to match some of the dumb stuff that the Cleveland Browns do, then that's where I'm tripping about it. I think he's better than Max Crosby. So I think he should get more money than Max Crosby. But should we do something bananas like the Browns did for Garrett? I just can't do that. I just can't. Especially with a 31-year-old defensive end. And he's great. TJ Watt is an all-time great defensive player for the Pittsburgh Steelers. If you did your all-time greatest team, he's starting at one of them linebackers. But you don't do that to try to keep up with the Joneses and the Brownies who do stupid stuff as far as an organization anyway. That's my stance about it, bro.
I mean, I see. I get it. I get it. But the market is the market.
Yeah.
And, he didn't control the market. Like, he didn't set the market. Somebody else did. Oh, by the way, the Steelers could have solved this problem a year ago, and they
Facts.
didn't do it. So they could have done it in the offseason. They could have signed him before Max Crosby. They didn't do it. They could have signed him before, Garrett signed. They could have done that.
Facts.
They didn't do it.
Yeah.
So you got to blame the Steelers some for this situation too, for putting themselves in this situation, because the numbers that people are talking about wouldn't be near as high had he signed.
Yeah.
And maybe had they signed him for that. So now, granted, there's a two-way street. He had to want to sign, but we can't. The Browns, you're right. They did it dirty, but here's the thing. Also, TJ also has to probably understand that a little bit, because think about what the Browns did with Deshaun Watson, signed him for $230 million. Well, the next few quarterbacks that signed didn't sign for more money than that. They didn't even sign for the same amount of money. Mm-hmm. So teams were like, okay, you guys are way out of whack. We're not doing that. Now, if TJ comes in somewhere in between there, okay, it might make sense. But 43, 44, I'm thinking, okay, yeah, maybe you are worth it. Maybe you're not, but we just don't want to pay you that. We're going to move on.
Yeah.
If the Steelers do that, I can't be mad at the situation. I won't like it, but we can't be mad at that situation.
I'd be hot if we traded him now, though, because like I said, in 2025, and you're correct, we should have worked it out before. But to trade him now, oh man, I'd be hot. Because we still gonna get hella draft capital. We're gonna get hella draft. If he leaves tomorrow or next year or whatever, we're gonna still get hella draft capital. So, but I wish if they were gonna do it pre-draft. You're not gonna find TJ Watt in the freaking draft. You're not. But the capital puts you in position to do different things and move up and down the draft board. That's the only reason why I said to trade him before. But now, give him his money, but you Max Crosby, bro. You right around there, man. And that's good. And you're gonna be a Steeler for life. And we with you. We love you, TJ. But let's get this done, man, and get him in and start building our camaraderie for 2025. Because we're excited. The Steelers actually have an opportunity to win a playoff game in 2025. So holdouts doesn't do anything but hurt the opportunity to win in 2025. And we can't afford that. We got to get the guy in camp.
No. And I mean, mini camp, I don't think we need him here for.
Yeah.
But as far as everything else, look, the last time he had a contract extension, what was he out? Like 2 weeks?
Yeah,
and then if you all remember, TJ Watt took less money the last time. Because remember, his agents were saying, hey, we can get more money. And TJ Watt went into the owner's office and said, okay, I'm signing. What is it? Let's get this done. And then, excuse me, I got to leave. I got work to do, and went right down to training camp. If y'all remember that, that's what happened the last time. He took less money. He left money on the table. Does he have to do that again? Are we going to be mad if he doesn't do that again? I don't think we should. I don't think we should.
Yeah,
So
facts.
that's the whole thing. And I just, you know, there's people out there that are saying stuff about, um, I don't know. It's just that he, he if he would have signed early, like Pun said, if he would have signed early, that he'd be
Uh,
holding out. I'm like, no, he wouldn't. I'm like, he
yeah,
signed last year, took less money. People signed after him and made more than him. He didn't
yeah,
hold out then. I
yeah.
go, he's holding out now because it's you sign guys with 1 year left on your deal. That's the way it
Yeah.
works.
That's
That's the way it
facts.
works.
Yeah, that's
So
facts.
I think that's the situation that we're in. Also, I'm not worried though, because
Mm-mm.
the Steelers are notorious to sign people a week or two into training camp,
Yeah,
and that's just kind of how they do business. Is
yeah.
that it gets to a point, then they sign them and they go from there. So I'm not really worried about TJ signing. I'm not worried about him trading them, but if they did trade him now, it wouldn't shock me.
Yeah,
I'd probably be upset, but it just wouldn't shock me
yeah.
because the Steelers have done some different things here lately. So we'll see. We'll see, G.
Facts. That's facts. I hope he's with the Steelers, man. But like you said, you don't know. You don't know, man. You don't want, and I get
Correct.
it. I get it. I want the best for the Steelers, and I want the best for Watt. That's where I stand. I want the best for both of them.
Correct.
Mhm,
Correct. And I think everybody does for the most part. I think everybody does for the most part. So,
mhm.
and um, CID says we need to trade for Scary Terry. Steelers
Oh my,
aren't going to do that, man.
no.
I would. Don't get me wrong. I would. I absolutely would. But the Steelers aren't going to do that. They're not going to give up the draft capital because, again, they need a quarterback, and I think that's the situation. They need a quarterback first.
They ain't
So
giving up that first round, and that's what the Commanders want. The Commanders want a first rounder for Scary Terry, bro. And to me, he's a dog. Go Bucks. Let's go Bucks. But I'm not giving up no first rounder. I'm not giving
no,
up no hell no. I'm not giving up a first round to get no wide receiver in the NFL. Not a first rounder. Mm-mm. Not with what's coming to the NFL for the next couple of years. Hell no, I'm not giving up no first round draft pick. Mm-mm.
Mr. Angry Man, just because he was the highest paid doesn't mean that he didn't leave money on the table. Go back to 2001, check all the tweets that you want. TJ Watt took less money than what he could have gotten and what he was actually asking for and what his agents were asking for. He took
Yeah,
less money.
yeah.
So I'll let you do the research, but it's out there and it ain't even hard to find either.
That's
It's
facts.
not hard to find.
That's
So
facts. Yeah.